I took a 5-hour high-speed train to New York to celebrate my boyfriend's birthday. Instead, outside his apartment door, I heard him mocking my childhood fire scars in front of everyone, calling me dirty and a heavy burden. I turned around and left, blocked him, went home. Then, in front of his parents, relatives, and his new girlfriend, I personally exposed the truth. The real person responsible for that fire was him. From that day on, he lost his engagement, his job, and his reputation, and I took back the 10 years of my life he had stolen from me. I took a 5-hour high-speed train to New York. I wanted to give him a birthday surprise. In my backpack was his favorite apple pie, still warm. He said he was working late, told me not to call, but I found his apartment anyway. The floor-to-ceiling windows were lit. There were people inside. I stood downstairs and saw his secretary, Lisa, leaning against the couch, wearing my silk pajamas. My mom had given me that set. I'd told him no one else was allowed to wear it. My fingers went cold, but I went upstairs anyway. The key slid into the lock. The door wasn't fully locked. I pushed it open a crack. Laughter spilled out. Truth or dare? Lisa drew the ace. Here's the question, who's the worst man you've ever slept with? Roars of laughter. Lisa covered her mouth, giggling. That's so mean. Then my boyfriend's voice rang out. Ethan Joe, can I answer for her? He slurred. I'll trade it for some dirt on my girlfriend. My heart skipped a beat. My girlfriend. Ethan dragged out the words. Clearly drunk. When she was 8, she got locked in a warehouse that caught fire. Left a scar on her face. Still afraid of the dark. Has to sleep with the lights on. The room went quiet for 1 second. Then the laughter exploded even louder. Holy shit, Ethan. You really went there. No wonder you always say she's so dramatic. Afraid of the dark? Does she need you to hold her all night? Man, must be exhausting for you. My fingers dug into the doorframe, with splinters stabbed under my nails. Lisa said softly, in a fake sweet voice, don't be like that. Mia is already so pitiful. Ethan laughed. Yeah, that's why I've put up with it and haven't dumped her. Someone asked. So how long are you gonna keep putting up with it? Ethan said. Until my parents' side is settled, I guess. After all, back then it was kind of my fault. Forget it. Not worth mentioning. I stood outside the door. All the blood in my body turned cold. Then I heard him add, don't spread this around. Bad for my image. My ears were ringing. So that was it. What he worried about wasn't my wounds being torn open again. It was his image. Lisa moved closer to him. Her hand rested on his thigh. Ethan, she said sweetly. Sticky sweet. If I and Mia both fell into the water, who would you save? More hooting and cheering. Ethan wrapped an arm around her shoulders. Of course I'd save you, he said. Mia, she's too heavy. She'd drag me down and we'd both die. Someone sprayed wine laughing. And besides, Ethan continued, his voice turning cold. All that stuff about her, it's dirty. My family had no choice. Felt guilty. Forced me to take responsibility. I've been tired of it for a long time. Lisa's eyes lit up. Then when will you take me to meet your parents? After the new year, Ethan said, kissing her forehead. Next year. The one standing beside me will definitely be you. Everyone raised their glasses. Congrats, Ethan. For escaping hell. Should have changed a long time ago. I stood outside the door. The world felt distorted. Sounds came and went. Near and far. I took out my phone and texted him. We're done. Sent. I saw his phone light up on the coffee table. He picked it up, glanced at it, then turned off the screen and placed it face down. He spoke into the phone. Mom, Mia's throwing a tantrum again. It's fine. I'll smooth things over. Voice message sent. My phone stayed silent. And suddenly, I understood. I opened our chat again and sent a single period. A red exclamation mark appeared. Below it, a line of small text, message sent but rejected by the recipient. I hadn't been put on Do Not Disturb. I'd been blocked. No wonder for the past 3 months he kept saying, I didn't see your message. My phone was on silent. It wasn't that he didn't see them. He just didn't want to. I dragged my suitcase downstairs. Didn't look back. The streets were full of people, couples hugging, laughter everywhere, fireworks bursting in the distance. I remembered when I was 8. Ethan had pulled me out of that warehouse. carried me to safety. He said, "Don't be afraid. I'll protect you forever." At 18, he got into a university in New York. My scores were good enough for a better school in California, but I changed my application. I said, "You're in New York." At 22, I got a job offer in Los Angeles. Double the salary. He said, "Don't go. Long distance never works." So I didn't. At 24, my mom said, "Sweetheart, don't make your whole life revolve around him." I said, "He's worth it." The cold wind slapped my face like a slap. I found a cheap hotel and checked in. My phone buzzed. My mom sent a photo. A full table of food at home. My parents smiling, making peace signs. "Happy New Year, sweetheart. Have fun with Ethan." I typed, "Yeah, everything's great." Sent. I sat on the bed and opened Ethan's social media. He'd posted a party photo, just glasses and hands. But when I zoomed in, I saw Lisa leaning against his shoulder in the reflection of the glass. My hands shook as I opened Lisa's profile. It was private, but I used a burner account to request a follow. She probably thought it was a mutual friend and approved it. Her first post, 3 years ago, bringing soup to a guy working late. He said I understand him better than anyone. Photo, a thermos on Ethan's office desk. Timestamp, 11 p.m. That day, Ethan's father was hospitalized. I was staying overnight at the hospital. He'd called and said he was working late. So that's what working late meant. I kept scrolling. My breathing grew faster. 2 years ago, my birthday, Ethan said he had to go on a sudden business trip, transferred me $520 and said we'd celebrate later. That day, Lisa posted, "On a business trip with him. With me around. Work doesn't feel tiring at all." Location, a couple's hotel in New York. 1 year ago, I gave Ethan a handmade leather bracelet. He put it on immediately and said he'd wear it forever. The next day, Lisa posted, a little surprise he gave me. On her wrist, the same bracelet, just with a more delicate clasp. 6 months ago, I found a lipstick mark on Ethan's shirt. He said it was from a female client by accident. We had a huge fight. He accused me of being paranoid. That day, Lisa posted, "Some people just don't deserve his kindness. But it's okay. I understand you, that's enough." 3 months ago, I started noticing he replied more and more slowly. Lisa posted, "Finally, the day you make me public has come." No photo, just a single red heart. I scrolled through her posts one by one, like scraping my own bones with a knife. 2 hours. Every post from the past 3 years. Every single one matched my pain. My waiting. My self-doubt. Fireworks exploded outside. I grabbed my backpack and pulled out the talisman I'd carried with me for 10 years, the one Ethan had snatched out of the fire back then. I opened the window and threw it out. At the same time, my phone buzzed. Lisa had updated. An audio recording. Ethan's voice, clear, gentle, smiling, "The one I've always loved is you. Once things are settled on her side, we'll get married." Recording time, last night. The night I asked him if we could spend New Year's together. I sat in the dark. I didn't cry. I just felt like something inside me finally died. I booked the earliest high-speed train ticket for dawn. While packing, I rushed to the bathroom and threw up, until there was nothing left but acid. My face in the mirror was ghostly pale. The faint scar on my left cheek stood out under the light. Ethan used to kiss it. He said it was his badge of honor. Now he said it was dirty. I wiped my mouth clean, checked out, went to the station. Early morning on New Year's Day. I got home. My parents were still asleep. I slipped into my room. Slept until noon. Mom knocked on the door. "Mia? Why are you back? Where's Ethan?" I said, "We broke up." She froze in the doorway. Dad came over too. They didn't ask much. Mom's eyes turned red as she said, "It's good you're home. I'll make you something to eat." 3 days later, Ethan finally replied to my breakup text. Just one word, "Okay." Then he called. "Mia, we need to talk. My mom wants to see you one last time. Clear things up." I said, "No need." "There is." His voice turned cold. "If you don't come, I'll go to your parents' place. You know my mom has a bad heart. Don't push me." I stayed silent. He said, "Tomorrow afternoon. My house. Both families. Let's end this properly." I hung up. I knew it was a trap, but I had to go. For my parents not to be harassed. For a real ending. The next day, I walked into the Joe house. The living room was packed. Ethan's parents, his aunts, some neighbors. Ethan was kneeling in the middle of the room. Lisa stood beside him, wearing maternity clothes. The moment Ethan's mother saw me, she rushed over. "Mia, you're finally here. Look at what this animal has done." She pointed at Lisa's belly. Ethan looked up at me, his expression complicated. "Mia," he said, "I'm sorry, but things have come to this. I have to take responsibility for her." He took Lisa's hand. "The one I love is her. We have a child." My ears rang. Ethan's mother slapped him hard across the face. "Shut up. Mia waited for you for 10 years. Ethan didn't dodge. He looked at me and said, "Mom, stop. I haven't had feelings for Mia for a long time. It was just responsibility holding me back." In front of all his relatives, he said clearly, word by word, "I don't love her anymore. I never did. Back then, I just pitied her." Lisa leaned against his shoulder and cried. A perfect performance. I stood there. 10 years. Exchanged for one sentence, "I never loved her." Ethan began listing all of Lisa's goodness. When my stomach hurt, Lisa brought me medicine in the middle of the night. That was my medicine. Special meds I'd had shipped from back home. When my project failed, Lisa drank with me and comforted me. That day I called him. He said he was busy and hung up. When my dad was hospitalized, Lisa ran around taking care of everything. I stayed at the hospital for 7 days. He told me to go home and rest. Turns out it was to make room for her. With every point he made, the relatives' expressions shifted. Someone whispered, "Then maybe Mia really didn't do enough. A woman shouldn't neglect the family so much." Ethan's mom tried to argue, but his aunt held her back. It hasn't been easy for Ethan either. Tied down by an engagement for so many years. My sacrifices, my compromises, my waiting, all erased, replaced by another woman's credit. I suddenly spoke up. "Ethan, do you remember why I didn't go to California?" He froze. "Because you said long-distance relationships always die. I gave up a full scholarship." The living room fell silent. "Do you remember why I didn't take the job in Los Angeles?" "Because you said you didn't want me leaving New York." "I turned down an offer with double the salary." Ethan's face darkened. "What's the point of saying this now?" Lisa suddenly cut in. "Mia, honestly, Ethan wanted to break up a long time ago. He just felt sorry for you. After what happened when you were 8. You've always had psychological issues. Ethan was afraid of triggering you." She dared to bring it up. In front of everyone. Something in my head snapped. "Who told you about that?" My voice was very soft. Lisa glanced smugly at Ethan. "He did," he said. "After that fire, you became twisted, controlling." I looked at Ethan. He avoided my eyes. "Ethan," I said, "how did that fire start?" He jerked his head up, face drained of color. "Shut up. Why can't I say it?" I took a step forward. "Aren't we here to clear things up? Then tell everyone. When I was 8, who stole the warehouse key? Who was playing with a lighter? Who locked me inside and ran out to get help, but forgot to tell them I was still in there?" Dead silence. Ethan's lips trembled. "You're lying." "Lying?" I laughed, tears falling. "This scar on my face, who was I protecting? You shoved me. I crashed into the metal rack. You begged me not to say anything. I kept it secret for over 10 years. Ethan's mother stood up. "Mia, what did you just say?" I pointed at Ethan. "Your precious son is the real cause of that fire. I took the blame for him for over 10 years. He said he'd make it up to me. Turns out making it up meant turning my wounds into jokes for his new girlfriend." Ethan lunged forward, trying to cover my mouth. I shoved him away. He slammed into the coffee table. Lisa screamed. "Ethan!" His father roared. "Is what Mia said true?" Ethan collapsed onto the floor, unable to speak. His expression said everything. Ethan's mother reacted first. She rushed over, grabbed a feather duster, and started beating him. "So it was you. You were the one who hurt Mia. You lied to us. Said she was the one playing with fire. You animal." Ethan covered his head, dodging. Lisa tried to shield him. Ethan's mother shoved her away hard. "And you shameless woman. Seduce a man with a fiancé. Get out!" All the relatives stood up. Their looks had completely changed. The sympathy, the blame, all turned into shock and contempt. Ethan's father was in tears. "Mia, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry on behalf of our whole family." I stood there, watching the farce unfold. Inside, I felt completely hollow. Suddenly, Ethan crawled over on his knees and grabbed my legs. "Mia, I was wrong. I was really wrong. I was just a kid back then. I was scared. Please, don't say it anymore. I'm begging you." I looked down at him. The face I had loved for 10 years was twisted and ugly now. "You were scared," I repeated. "So you let me take the blame for you? So you let your parents feel guilty and force you to take responsibility for me? So you took responsibility while hating me, cheating on me, and turning my privacy into jokes for your mistress?" He cried, mucus and tears all over his face. "I don't love her. I love you. She seduced me." I was just confused for a moment. Lisa screamed, "Ethan, what did you just say? Shut up." Ethan turned and yelled at her. "If you hadn't climbed into my bed, would I have messed up?" The two of them started tearing into each other on the spot. Relatives shook their heads and walked out, one after another. No one spared them another glance. Ethan's mother came over and took my hand. "Child, come home. This wedding is off. From today on, the Joe family has no such son." She led me toward the door. Behind us, Ethan shouted, "Mom! Mia! Don't go! I'll change. I swear I'll change." I didn't look back. How ridiculous. Before the truth came out, I was the ex who wouldn't let go. After the truth came out, I became the pitiful white moonlight. No one ever asked what I wanted. I was just a prop in their moral drama. My parents soon learned everything. My dad wanted to storm over to Ethan's house and smash the door down. My mom stopped him. "If we go now, it'll look like we can't let go," she said calmly. "First, bring our daughter home." They came to pick me up. Ethan's parents apologized with red eyes. My mom said only one sentence: "The marriage is cancelled. Any ties between our families end here." Clean, decisive, no insults, no entanglement, just a complete cut. The next day, my mom took me to see a psychologist. I resisted. "I'm not sick." "I know you're not," my mom said, gripping my hand. "But I want a doctor to say it out loud. I want everyone to know my daughter is mentally healthy, with no issues at all." The doctor did an evaluation. "She's stronger than most people," he said. "Any PTSD symptoms are long gone. She was simply in a long-term emotionally manipulative environment, which led to self-doubt." My mom took the assessment report and made 10 copies. One was mailed to Ethan's family, one sent to the extended family group chat, one sent to HR at my former company. She was restoring my name. Ethan started desperately trying to find me. I blocked his calls, he switched numbers. Blocked him on WeChat, he used burner accounts to add me. Finally, he waited outside my apartment complex. I went downstairs to throw out the trash. He rushed toward me. "Mia! I broke up with Lisa. She had an abortion. Let's start over." I looked at him. "What does that have to do with me?" He froze. "I know you hate me," he said. "But 10 years together, you can't just walk away. Let's get married right away. Tomorrow. I'll add your name to the house. I'll give you my salary card." He spoke fast, urgently, like reciting lines. I suddenly found it absurd. "Ethan," I said, "do you know what day it is today?" He looked blank. 3 years ago today," I said. "You proposed. You said you'd love me forever." His eyes lit up. "You remember? You still love me, don't you?" "No." I shook my head. "I just finally see clearly. You never loved me. You loved the image of yourself, the devoted man forced to take responsibility. Back then, because I covered for you, you had to act devoted. Now that the truth is out, you need to salvage your image. So you're acting passionate again." His face went deathly pale. "That's not true. It doesn't matter anymore." I turned away. "Don't come looking for me again, or I'll call the police." He grabbed my arm. "Mia, please give me one more chance. Just one last time." I shook him off. "A chance?" I laughed. "I gave you countless chances. Every lie, every broken promise, every time I said let's talk, that was a chance. You were the one who didn't want them." Security came over. As Ethan was dragged away, he was still shouting my name. I didn't look back. Ethan stayed quiet for a few days. Then he started sending long essays, pages of explanations for his pain. I was too young back then and afraid of responsibility. I cheated because I felt suffocated around you. I always wanted to tell you the truth, but I was afraid you couldn't handle it. Lisa seduced me. I'm a victim too. I read it all, took screenshots, sent them back to him, then replied point by point. You were young, so I deserved to take the blame? You felt suffocated with me, so you went elsewhere to release? You were afraid I couldn't handle the truth, but not afraid I could handle betrayal and humiliation? Lisa seduced you, but you gave her my pajamas, shared my private trauma, and promised to marry her? I typed fast, like clearing out 10 years of accumulated trash. Ethan, stop acting. You were never a victim. You were the abuser and the director. You wrote a script where you were forced to take responsibility and cast me as a supporting role. Now the script collapsed, and you want to rewrite it. Sorry, I'm not playing along. He replied, do you really have to be this heartless? I answered, this isn't heartlessness. It's clarity. Then I blocked that account. That afternoon, Lisa added me on WeChat. Verification message, can we talk? I accepted. She immediately sent a stack of screenshots, group chats between Ethan and his buddies, spanning 3 years. The earliest one, guys. How do you dump a woman your family owes a lot to? Online answers ASAP. Someone replied, cold violence. Make her break up with you. Ethan, tried. She endures too much. Then cheat. Let her catch you. Ethan, good idea. The most recent one. Before the New Year's party, tonight I'm coming clean. Lisa's pregnant. My mom won't be able to force me to marry that ugly freak anymore. Someone asked, that scar on her face, was that really your fault? Ethan, who else? She's stupid though. Covered for me for over 10 years. It's time she paid it back. My hands and feet turned ice cold. So it wasn't just 3 years ago. Even earlier. He'd been planning to get rid of me all along. The coldness, the indifference, the lies. None of it was accidental. It was systematic expulsion. I replied to Lisa, why show me this? She said, because he's trying to dump all the blame on me now. Saying I seduced him. Saying the baby wasn't his. I want him to pay. So you want me as an ally? We have a common enemy. I smiled. Typed, you're wrong. My enemy was never him, or you. It was the version of myself who loved blindly for 10 years. That version of me is already dead. Your war, fight it yourselves. Deleted her. Turned off my phone. And went to sleep. I slept 10 hours straight that night. When I woke, the sunlight was blinding. But inside, I finally felt clean. A week later, a friend sent me a link. Mia, look at this. I clicked it. It was trending on a social media platform. Headline, cheating live on stream, exposing a New York finance guy's 3-year double life. The timeline was laid out in detail. Ethan and Lisa's hidden accounts were exposed. Every display of affection matched up with the moments of my pain. Netizens pieced it together post by post. This post says brought him soup. His official girlfriend was taking care of his hospitalized dad that day. This post says on a business trip with him, it was his girlfriend's birthday. Even the gifts match. Deliberate, right? The fire spread faster and faster. People recognized Ethan's company. The company inbox was flooded with complaint emails. Partners demanded new contacts. Ethan was suspended pending investigation. Lisa didn't fare any better. It turned out she had more than one boyfriend. She was stringing along 3 or 4 men at the same time, all industry peers. Work group chats leaked. She bragged, closing major clients. All thanks to sleeping with them. She was fired on the spot. The internet tore into the pair. They didn't protect each other. They started exposing each other. Lisa went live, crying, I was deceived. He said we had already broken up. I have chat records. She posted screenshots of Ethan promising to marry her. Ethan fired back, she drugged me. The kid isn't even mine. They publicly spilled all the dirt. Ethan's tax problems came out. Lisa's fake credentials were exposed. In less than 2 weeks, Ethan was fired and blacklisted in the industry. Lisa couldn't find any work and returned home to hide. Netizens said, best revenge story of the year. Evil gets its due. I closed the page. Didn't feel particularly good. Just noisy. 3 months later, I received an offer from a New York company. The same company that had once rejected me. The HR remembered me. Your resume has been in our talent pool. There's an opening now, want to give it a shot? I said yes, packed my bags and flew to New York. This time, it wasn't for anyone else. It was for me. During my first week, I completed a project that had been delayed for 6 months. The client personally praised me. 1 month later, I was confirmed full-time. 6 months later, promoted to project lead. I had 5 juniors under me. One of them whispered, "Mia, I heard your ex Ethan now delivers food." My hands kept typing. "Oh, you're not upset? He treated you so badly." I looked at her. Why would I let a food delivery guy affect my life? She paused, then laughed. "Wow, you're so cool." I wasn't cool. I just finally understood, hating someone gives them energy. Ignoring them, that's true freedom. At the year-end party, a new colleague asked, "Mia, you have everything going for you. Why are you still single?" I said, "Waiting for someone worthy of me." They said, "That's a high standard, right?" I smiled. Not high, just integrity, respect for women, emotional stability. The room went quiet. Then someone said, "Actually, that's the highest standard." Yes. Only after hitting the lowest lows do you understand what high standards really are. I raised my glass. To myself. 2 years later, I became a director. Bought a small apartment in New York. My parents stayed for a month. Taking pictures every day. Daughter's new home. So proud. On Lunar New Year's Eve, I went on a business trip back home. At the airport, I ran into Ethan. He wore a wrinkled suit, greasy hair, holding a stack of flyers. He froze when he saw me. I tried to walk around him. He ran after me. "Mia!" I turned. "Can I help you?" He rubbed his hands nervously. I want to make it up to you." I raised an eyebrow. "I've saved some money these 2 years." He said, "I know it's not much, but I want to give it to you. Just a little gesture." I looked at him. The man I had once loved with every fiber of my being. Now just another fallen middle-aged man on the street. "Ethan," I said, "do you know how much my train ticket to New York cost back then?" He looked blank. $580. I said, "My internship salary was $3,000 a month. That ticket, half a month's food money." When I got there, I heard you calling me dirty. His face went pale. Then I took the last train back. Same price. I threw up the whole way. Those 5 hours felt longer than 10 years. He looked down. "So your compensation is repaying my ticket?" I asked. His hands shook as he fumbled for his wallet. I'll give you $1,000. No, $2,000. I took the money, in front of him, and tore it to pieces. "No need," I said. That train reached its destination long ago. The scraps fell to the floor, like our shattered past. He cried. But this time, I didn't soften. I turned and walked away. In the taxi, I glanced in the rearview mirror. He was still standing there, like a forgotten statue. But I knew, when the sun rises tomorrow, he'll keep handing out flyers, living his mediocre life, and I'll fly back to New York, continuing my upward path. We were never in the same world. Back in New York, life resumed its rhythm. Work, gym, learning flower arranging, occasional drinks with friends. No more nightmares. No more thoughts of him. Mom said, "Someone wants to set you up." "Good match," I said. "Mom, I'm not in a hurry." "You really don't want to marry?" "I do." I smiled. "But only if it's the right person. If not, I'm fine alone." She sighed, but didn't push. I knew what she worried about. Afraid I'd be lonely forever. But I felt, forcing love with the wrong person is true loneliness. At my year-end checkup, the doctor said all my health indicators were perfect. Psych evaluation scores are excellent. "You're healthy." Holding the report, I remembered when Ethan had spread rumors about me having psychological issues. Now, officially, I was healthier than him. How ironic. Friends occasionally mentioned Ethan's current life. Apparently, he went back home, worked at a relative's factory, countless failed blind dates. They say he brags about you to everyone, says you're his biggest regret in life. I just laughed. I'm not his regret. I'm the moon he could never reach. And he? Just a speck of dust long swept clean from the sole of my shoe. Another Lunar New Year. I took early leave to return home. The house was decked in red and gold. Dad hung couplets. Mom made dumplings. I helped roll the dough. The Spring Festival Gala played on TV. Lively, warm. At midnight, fireworks lit up the sky. Mom knocked on my door. Sweetheart, come out and set off fireworks. I stepped outside. The yard was filled with all kinds of fireworks. As a child, I was afraid of fire and never dared to light them. Every year, Ethan would light them for me. He'd say, "I'm here. Don't be afraid." Now, I picked up the lighter, crouched down. SSS, the fuse caught. I stepped back. Bang! Golden sparks shot into the night sky, exploding into massive flowers, illuminating my face. Mom clapped behind me. Beautiful! Dad held up his phone. Recording. I didn't make a wish. In the past, every year, I wished, stay with Ethan forever. Now, I watched the light bloom across the sky, and my heart was calm. I no longer needed to wish for love, because I knew I would have love when it's worthy of me. Until then, I have my career, my family, my complete self. That is enough. The fireworks ended. The sky returned to black, but scattered sparks still flickered, like stubborn stars refusing to die. I cleaned up the yard. My phone lit up. A news notification, youngest female director added to New York Chinese elite list. I didn't click, but I knew it was me. Back inside, I made a cup of hot tea, sat by the window. My phone lit up again. This time, a friend's message, "Congrats on the list." Someone from before, seems like they saw it too. Tried to throw shade in the group chat. No one replied. I sent a smiling emoji. Set the phone down. The tea steamed in the cup. Outside, fireworks sounded again. A new year. Old people. Old events. Old wounds, all left in the past. I suddenly remembered many years ago. Ethan said, "I'll always protect you." He didn't. But that's okay. I learned to protect myself. And I do it well. That's enough. Winning? Not exactly. I just finally walked the path I needed to walk. Crossed the bridges I needed to cross. And discovered the world ahead is vast. And I am free as the wind.